Hello, welcome back to another episode of the Coach Steve Show podcast. Thank you guys for welcoming back. Thank you guys for watching and listening to all the other episodes. Today we're going to we're going to change up our simple defense. We're going to break it down. It's going to be simple 3-4, simple 4-2-5, simple 4-3, simple 3-3-5, all that stuff. So today we're going to talk about a simple 3-4 defense, and that's what we're going to talk about today. So hit the like button, subscribe on the YouTube channel, leave a comment in the comment section down below. Please rate and follow it on iTunes, Apple, all that good stuff. So we're going to continue on with a simple defensive segment, but we're going to break it down more. Instead of doing what I was doing before, came up with a better idea. Why not break it down into the defenses? You guys may not be interested in some of all those videos. You might want to look at a 3-4. So right now we're going to continue on with a simple 3-4 defense. In one of the videos, we talked about how to label your 3-4 defense. I got to coaching it for a little bit, so I have some knowledge, not every knowledge, but some of a 3-4. And you can run different things out of it, which I personally like the 3-4 if you have the personnel, but you also don't have to have the perfect personnel to run it either. So we talked about in the video how to label and line up with the 3-4. Now we're going to talk, and we showed a cover 2 out of a 3-4. Now we're going to talk about how you could still run a cover 3 out of a 3-4. Again, a little unorthodox, but you can still run a cover 3 because once you start seeing teams get into trips and everything like that, you could still run cover 2, but you probably do want to check into a cover 3. So this is for young coaches out there, youth coaches. They don't know anything about the 3-4. They're looking into it and trying to find a simple way to do it. So let's talk about my way of the simple 3-4 defense, and we'll get into how they run cover 3. So we have our 3-4 put up here. Now, again, this is a way that I was around and everything. So there's more than one way to skin a cat. So you can run a cover 3. Now, necessarily would you run a cover 3 against 2x2? Maybe, but if they decide to move over into a trips formation. So if we move, and if you're looking at it on the screen, it's a trips right, looking at it from a defensive perspective. From an offensive perspective, it would be a trips left call. So when we have this trips right formation, according to the defense, you want to probably check to a cover 3 or something that's going to help with this because they can run vorforts. They can run something that's going to attack the middle and combat that cover 2. So you can run a cover 3. So right now we have, when I was around it, we called it razor laser for your outside backers. You could call this a free safety, strong safety. It could be strong safety, weak safety. So if your weak safety is a better coverage person, you might flip flop them. So they would be flip flopped. Corners always on the outside. Receivers, you can flip your razor and laser if your razor is a better coverage guy, or laser, whoever you want. We always did that so that way when we got to our blitzes, we could title them. I'll give you a little hint. Like one was called Ram. So Mike and Razor followed each other. The Will and the Laser would follow each other. You could call this a Sam to help out with words when we started doing our combo blitzes and everything. So with a cover 3 out of this, when they go trips and go cover 3, you could send this outside back to be head up or even a little bit outside the third receiver to try to help with lining up and putting the offense in an uncomfortable situation. Your box, I traditionally did a 5-0-5. The techniques, your laser is on the backside to help out with any slant on the backside. Then you could send your weak safety and be about head up number 2 receiver, and your strong safety could start to already be lined up in the middle. They just kind of shifted over. So you're still giving them a too high look, too high shell. So cover 3, your corner obviously comes back to cover the deep half. So they would drop back here to cover that if you wish. Also, what I've done, if you want, that's traditional cover 3. One that I would do is I kept the corner down to cover the flat. You would have this weak safety. He's head up number 3 or number 2. He's the one dropping back to cover this right here. Your strong safety that had moved to the middle, he's covering the middle of the field. The corner on the backside on the single receiver side would drop back and cover the other deep half. Your laser is covering the flat or anything deep, so he has to be able to read if his eyes are looking to the one receiver, back to the running back to see what's going on. So he would drop to cover that flat, or he would stay and drop back a little bit. So this could be covering flat out to here. Your razor on the right side is covering hook curl, helping out any flat. Your Mike is dropping to hook curl, and your Will is also dropping to hook curl. So this would be a way to run cover three, or you could have an invert cover three where the corner's dropping back and the weak safety's running down, or have the razor get out there. It's a tough thing to do with that, but you could still run cover three out of this. It does put the corner on the single side in a bind. Especially if you start blitzing guys. If you decide to blitz off the edge with your laser, the Will now knows he has to bump out and cover. That's a long way to go. If you blitz your Mike, the Will now has to cover this. But this is a way to still run cover three out of a 3-4. This is one of the first ways I saw to run cover three out of a 3-4. So let's talk about a different way they could still run a cover three out of this 3-4. Another way to run a cover three out of this 3-4 that I've been around or seen. You could still get into this too high shell, just widen out your safety so they're still head up. The number 2 receiver for this trip's right. So now we'll get into the corner dropping back. So on the single receiver side, he necessarily doesn't have to drop back. So on the non-single receiver side, does not have to drop back. So now your safety is going to drop back and cover this. The weak safety now has to get to the middle of the field and cover this. The corner on the trip side is dropping back to cover here. Now your corner on the single receiver side, you can do one of two things. They stay covering the flat, or you could man up that guy in your cover three. So it could be an automatic check. You know, I've been around where we've called it Raven, where it was a check to cover three, and he could be manned up on the single receiver side, knowing he's got over the top help in cover three, which then let this laser know he's covering more of the flat instead of deep, which then if the corner is manned up here, so if his eyes are here and he is just manned up on this guy, laser knows he's got more of the flat, which tells our Will backer he's got to drop a little more for this hook curl. The Mike then really has to drop to the middle of the hook curl, and then your razor has to really help cover the flat, which what we just talked about a minute ago. Now he's running out here to cover this. It's hard for this razor now because you're asking this guy to really get out here into this flat area to cover here. So this is why this one has a little bit more risk involved in it. So you could always widen out your Mike a little bit. He can cover more here. Your Will then is lined up more in here. He could cover here. You are leaving a little bit of this open, but your Mike and your Will have to be able to react on this. So this was another way that you can run cover three, but you are putting more pressure this way on this outside backer. So that's why personnel grouping and how you want to do it. If he's athletic enough to run out there to cover the flat, cool. You also have to teach your corner, hey, you're dropping back, but you notice something's happening in front of you. You need to fly up and make the play. So you have to practice that. And then having this corner manned up on the backside. Hopefully that's their best receiver, and that's why they're trying to one-on-one that corner. He could play man there. You could also have this laser still line up more back here so they can tempt them to throw some and he can come flying up there. So this is, a second way that you could run cover three out of this simple 3-4 defense. And those are the two ways that I know of to run cover three. There could be different ways that you could play around with it where the single receiver side, he's staying in the flat. Somebody else is doing the cover three, dropping that corner back, or the safety can go out and play the deep half, middle, drop him back, and everything else. There's different ways you could do it, but for me, the simplest way to do those cover threes out of a 3-4, and you could have guys line up differently so that way it looks different to the offense. Rolling guys, rolling back guys, have them start up as a 1 high and motion back. Now they think it's cover 2, and all of a sudden the safety's going here, and do those things. So those are a simple way in the simple 3-4 defense to be able to run this cover 3. Thank you guys again for watching and or listening. These are shorter episodes. I am breaking the simple defensive segment up instead of just one big thing. I had the brilliant idea to just kind of break it up as I go. So you have a simple 3-4, simple 4-2-5, simple 4-3, simple 3-3-5, 3-5-3, all that stuff. So thank you guys again for watching and or listening. Please like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Please follow it, rate it. Apple, iTunes, and Spotify. Send me an email at coachsteveshow@gmail.com to be on the podcast, or send me a message at coach_Steve72. And send me a message, be a part of the conversation, talk some ball and everything else. So thank you guys for watching and or listening. This is Coach Steve, and we'll see you next time.